It's so Chattisfying.
I decided this was a really good thing to talk about, partially because sort of timing with these hate raids that have been going on, and the leak from Twitch, and you sort of mentioned that it's something that you know quite a lot about, Corion. So we thought we'd sort of have a bit of a debate and a chat. We'd give some.
Did you see the more recent things because of the whole issue? Some small, it's mostly been the small streamers. Like they have been, their accounts have been compromised, and they've gone in and they've changed the bank deposit to a PayPal account, and Twitch can't get the money back. It's already been processed out.
Shit.
People have been, it's.
So the money's not going to the streamers anymore. It's been changed. And
no, someone hijacked it, and they says, "Oh, change it." Like, my account is secured. I have two-factor on. What's going on? And from Twitch's point of view, they don't care about someone losing $300 or $400, but to someone who's doing it like really actively, that could be like their part-time job. It could be huge, and they just lost like $400. I mean, it's gone. And I was
that's
like,
a lot of money for someone to lose. Yeah, it's not a lot of money for a corporation to lose, but it's a lot of money for a person to lose.
A big streamer, suddenly if like $100,000 goes missing, it's like, they're gonna have a little bit of a different reaction.
Yeah,
obviously. But I'm not going to use up resources for someone who just lost 400. But like, just change your account. It's like, okay, I did have my security enabled. I used the tools you gave me, and it didn't work. And there should be a little bit more sympathy considering the release that just happened. Security keys, multi-factor authentication, password managers. Do not use the same password on anything. If it's difficult, they have plenty of password managers that you could use, and use a unique master password that's not used anywhere else. And if it links to your email, have a phone and backup recovery so that people can't just log in. You need to have redundant security. I can't tell you how many places, how many computers you walk in, and it's like, what's your password? And it's like a sticky note is there, or it's the monitor 123. Like, it's like, oh, Acer 123, and that's your password. Like, oh, and these are places that I go to and clients that I work with, and I die a little inside sometimes.
So you mentioned,
without telling you who they are.
No, you mentioned password manager. Do you have any particular recommendation for a good one?
A real LastPass used to be really good, but they kind of are charging stuff. A really good one right now is Bitwarden. It's free, nicely encrypted. It works great. You get hundreds of passwords, and if someone tries to get access to that, you need to have extra authentication. So everything is, the more walls you put behind something, the better.
Yeah. So would you be okay after the stream to put a link, and then we'll put that in the description underneath the video on YouTube? Is that okay?
Oh yeah, let me. It really depends just how careful you want to be, and especially you're talking about these raids. Did you hear the recent thing? It's random things and names are following you. They're using third-party sites to try and track your IP to narrow down your location.
Right.
So if don't click on that name. And before it was just one name, but now they've split off. They have hundreds of names, so they can space out the follow timing to try and narrow it down. And they're just collecting a database. It's nothing malicious directly. It's how that data is going to be used.
Right.
So if you don't have a VPN, don't click on links directly. You can use commands to ban. Yeah.
I've heard
the hate raids are just the beginning of it.
Yeah, I've heard apparently that you can use a tool that deactivates Twitch extensions, which helps apparently. Have you heard of this?
No, but there was a tool out there I used to ban accounts that were fake. You can ban fake accounts. It might be root. Yeah, it scans any accounts that were just created, any accounts that aren't authenticated. And Twitch has a decent job for trying to add more security to people who can talk in your channel. But then that's the balance between, I want to have more people able to talk, and then more restriction to prevent random bots.
Yeah.
I need to have this needs to be an authenticated user. This account needs to have this connected to it, or
I think that's a good point, actually. It's a very difficult balance to kind of strike, because obviously you want the genuine people to be able to talk, so that they can enjoy your stream. But obviously, then you don't want the trolls or the bad actors to have any say or be able to really say anything. So, for example, I know a lot of people are quite a fan of follower only mode,
Well, I
and
had that on my stream the other week,
yeah,
didn't I? And you were
exactly.
there.
But I think follower only mode, in terms of like from the perspective of a viewer, it's just a non-starter. Like I know a lot of people, myself included, that like if you go into a raid, if follower only mode is on, instant dip. You're not going to hang about.
Instant turn off.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of streams they're getting better with it. Like if a raid happens, it disables or tweaks like the follower only mode for the people who came over from that raid. I think even Twitch has something for that. But they need to do better. I get the whole point of follower only mode, because I've seen extreme versions of what it's good for, and then it doesn't help, and then you want to have genuine people engaged, and then my God, just yesterday something got through most of my automated security, and then luckily Moobot took off. They just started posting like links to this other site before they got auto banned. It's like, wow, they got through all the authentication and they posted that still. It's like, huh.
Yeah, they are getting cleverer. It's a bit of an arms race, really, isn't it? Between
It's never stops.
Exactly. But sort of the sort of solution that I've seen a couple of people sort of recommend, in terms of especially like that the hate raids and this kind of thing, is instead of having follower only mode on at all times, it's especially useful if you've got a stream deck. Is set
a panic button.
Yeah, a panic button basically that switches on either follower only mode or even sub only mode, just as a temporary thing, and clears chat. And then if something happens, you've got everything at one button. But even if you've not got a stream deck, what you can do,
you gotta go in and disable follow alerts and all those things then too, because a lot of the time they don't chat. They just have really offensive account names.
Yeah, that can be an issue as well, obviously. So
that actually it hit me, I think, a couple of weeks ago. Not to an extreme level, but it was just like every 5 minutes it kept coming in over and over again. It's like, what the? And it would be follow, unfollow, follow, unfollow, follow, unfollow. It's like,
with the I think Stream Elements does a thing. I'm not 100% sure on this, that I think it only puts the follow alert up twice, and after that it ignores a person. I'm not sure. That's just from my own observations of being on Twitch. I'm not 100% sure if it's true, but it seems to stop paying attention to someone after they followed twice. It kind of assumes they're spamming, I think. I might be wrong.
Yeah, just little things. Imagine if people have talked about it. I've made a suggestion before. I don't know if anyone read it or listened to it. If an account had been just created and they follow you, maybe you don't want that to display. Like, don't display follows from accounts new or younger than 30 days or some way just to prevent a filter. And I can't seem to find any way. A lot of people have talked about it, requested it, but no one has developed it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Then I would, they run scripts to create these accounts.
Yeah.
Well, it would give Twitch time to find them.
Yeah.
Because the longer the accounts around or scanning names, I don't want to display if you're a user and your account's been less than, say, 30 days and you follow, just out of precautionary sake, like, I maybe don't want it to display. You can always manually shout it out or, hey, thanks, or whatnot, but maybe you don't want it to pop up, but there's no filter for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice if there was one, wouldn't there? That would be quite useful. Wouldn't it? I think does the the new options that have been added, so that you can only chat if you've been like authenticated and all that. If you follow, Stream Elements will not then put that up, will it? If you
no, it'll still go through. That's the thing.
Okay.
Those don't apply to follows.
Right. Okay.
Which is why a lot of these bots are just following and unfollowing. They're using that to bypass the chat limits by having really messed up names.
Okay.
And they just follow, and that pops up.
Well, one thing that I've seen a streamer do quite recently, actually, I think I was watching, it was AK, I think I was watching last night, which I think was a really good idea, was, when you have it come up on chat that someone's followed you, it just said, thanks for the follow, didn't come up with a name. And then he'd
Yeah, you can do that too.
yeah, and then he'd read the name out loud, obviously if he was happy to. I think that was a really good idea because then you still get a notification that you followed, but you obviously have that little bit. You have that ability
I think
to
I've seen
filter through.
seriously Clara do that. She used to be got her on Twitter a lot. I mean, she's one of the people who works with the companies to get like CD keys out to people.
Yeah.
And she's got some really funny entitlement posts that she gets sometimes. And you know what? She is considered enough and professional enough. She doesn't include the name of the people who have these really interesting statements to her about CD keys that they feel they deserve.
Right.
And she edits out the name, and I was like, "Wow, you're way more professional than I thought an average person would be."
What do you reckon then, Hippo?
I just feel like we should hire a security team, and they can just shoot anyone that gives me shit.
Look, this is the same concept that you see these gold spammers, bots, and things in like Game or New World and whatnot. It's like, how hard would it be to hire one guy, Tim, the intern, and Tim gets $5 for every spammer he bans.
The
Now,
problem
game,
is he's too busy wiping out buttholes from cats.
Yes. Well, no, yes. But if the game costs $40 to buy and Tim gets paid $5 for each gold spammer he bans, everyone wins, right? Because it's banned, like the gold spammer's banned. That means if they want to sell more gold to advertise it, they have to spend 40 more. So everyone, it costs them $5 and they make 35 when the gold spammer buys another account.
Yeah.
Everyone wins.
See, there's issues with that because there's some things going on at the moment with New World that I was reading that they're making keys for the game. So they're not even buying keys for the game. They've found a way to fabricate past it and get on to
No
New World.
way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so like
up.
bots are just they're not even buying the game anymore. They have fake game keys.
Jesus.
That means something leaked because that means the key
the
key code.
key coder. Yeah.
Well, let's go on, Hippo. You started talking about your thoughts on security.
But I don't know. I just feel like if you base it on comparisons, like when Mixer was out and stuff like that, I didn't hear any issues with Mixer in terms of security and stuff like that. You look at people who YouTube stream, you don't hear issues as such. Now,
I don't think they're
and then you go
these things before they launch them. Yeah, I mean,
well, it's a big corporation, but then so is Amazon with Twitch. Twitch is a huge corporation that they bought on and taken on, and part of a huge thing that is Amazon, the behemoth.
The Amazon leak was huge. It's like the source code of Amazon is out. It's just everything.
But it just seems bizarre that the biggest streaming platform, the platform that's inspired other platforms to do these things, including Facebook and all these other things, can't get their shit together.
It's not the first
protecting
time, too.
viewers and streamers, people who are bringing in the money that they take 50% of on everything, or skim off the top on the bits and do all these other bits and have all the adverts galore that they want to put on and force people to watch adverts unless they subscribe and pay money for it and stuff like that, can't make things secure.
I think it's because they're in such a rush to get the next thing.
They're reactionary.
They don't really
That's the problem. They're not. They don't go ahead. They react to issues. DMCA. They reacted to that.
Right. That's why people are putting stuff on YouTube because if stuff gets flagged there, the copyright owner they get a chunk of the income. There was They could have done this for Twitch years ago.
This is Twitch, right? Twitch. New impending doom DMCA strikes. What they do? They released a game called Twitch Sings.
Career security. How about that one? Imagine that. You're someone whose livelihood is Twitch, and because Twitch doesn't feel like, I'm not going to invest into that, and you've lost your streamer.
Yeah,
it's gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
DMCA itself too needs to be revamped because there's false claims and all kinds of crazy stuff going on, and due to the way that's all set up, it's takedown is the first thing to do.
It's not really it's not really up to date. It doesn't take
very
account
outdated.
Of more recent sort of
I think it's
technology.
Napster in its list, doesn't it? And part of the terminology is that old.
Yeah, exactly. It was made back in the early 2000s, wasn't it? The rules, or was it even before that?
20 to 30 years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it very peculiar. And in regards to the DMCA thing, like I kind of enjoyed the YouTube approach. So for some of you who may know, I did a 400 follower celebration of a certain video, me cosplaying as a certain singer, which I know Mellar absolutely loves,
I
and so
loved
does
it. Yeah, it was
Corion.
brilliant.
Yes.
But do you know what YouTube did for that video that has copywritten music on it? They just said, "I will just take your money." So okay, yeah, fine. And I was allowed to
Yeah.
keep it up.
Yeah.
Yep. The
Take my
video
money.
stayed.
Fuck it, take the money on
It's
that.
not
That's
always
fine.
they don't always take the money. Sometimes they just take half.
Yeah.
You know, it's up to the individual copyright claim. It's like, look, you did the work, sell our stuff, we'll let you keep half. And
Yeah.
there's nothing like that outside of YouTube because YouTube spent the time and money on
I
it.
kept
Yeah.
Britney's career alive. Okay.
Right.
There was one thing that you sort of mentioned in DMs before, Corion. I just wanted to mention because we've not really talked about the whole like real name thing on when you're streaming, because I know that I definitely know some streamers that do go by their real name and all this kind of thing, and I don't think a lot of people really.
That's scary. Yeah. There's really messed up people out there.
So, like from your perspective as someone who's obviously knows a fair amount about it, like why is that a bad idea?
We're in the age of information, and you could look up someone's name. I mean, every now and again, I've looked up, stuff for myself or stuff for other people, and well, luckily for me, a lot of my stuff is like 10 years out of date. But for someone else, I'd check. It showed me their current address, and then the whole Google van drive-by, you could see their house. Just if someone with just a name is able to narrow it down, get their time zone, little bits of information by themselves might seem okay. But when you add it all together and you get someone creepy, statistically, it's not as bad of a problem for male streamers, but for female streamers, it could be very risky.
I don't know. I've had some stalkers come at me, but then I've got fantastic jubblies, so I mean, I'm kind of like
you do.
I do. And you see,
but I've found more information about two male streamers, like the people they kind of pulled into, like doxed them and pretty much what was that thing where they sent police? SWAT. Yeah, they've been swatted. And it got to the point of harassment so bad that they actually had to call their local like police office, sheriff's office, and tell them, I stream on the internet. This is what's going on. This is who's in my house. These are the names of people are going on. And someone is trying to send fake SWAT calls. And they were interrogated. Well, stop doing it. No one understood. Like, it's not me. I'm not doing this. And they were like victimized. Like, they are calling you using, fake numbers and pretending bomb threats or hostage crisis. And like a lot of people aren't prepared or even understand the concept of Twitch. I did see one fun video in which this one streamer got swatted, and one of the cops who came in was a Twitch viewer, and he says, "Oh, what's going on? Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. How many subs you got? What's going on? Yeah, you caught a new subscriber." And then the cop looked in the channel. It's like, what you did's illegal, and we're going to investigate this. And it's like, but that was like one good one, and I've seen so many bad ones, and they're terrifying. And for the longest time, I mean, I was terrified to even have like a camera on, and because like there was a rise of swatting and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Thank God I have very few viewers or fans.
Right? Honestly, there's a little bit about that. Like, it's one of that like safety behind being smaller. It's like, and then there's this like rise between cool.
It's not necessarily
people,
the case though.
like,
I'm a relatively small streamer, and I've had 2 stalkers.
Wait, really?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, it sounds like it's not that. It's actually not that rare. I mean, I've been harassed online before. I mean, it was mostly surrounding World of Warcraft, but they did end up on my Twitch for a while.
I found on my Twitch, they used to watch me all the time, and then they started finding me on my socials and everything like that, and even sent me a letter to my house.
I don't use socials anymore. Okay, I guess actually I'll be on that point. Is because I had a few like creepy digital stalkery things. Like, I haven't touched Facebook in like 10 years. The only like social I have is like my Twitter, and it's linked directly to Twitch, and I don't use it for anything else. So it's like, if you think about it, I didn't think about it. Yeah, I've been driven off of social media.
Yeah, I guess.
because of stalkers and information. Because you post a picture or it links to something, and someone compares it to the point it's having everything.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, in terms of like we were talking about obviously security and the whole leak thing. I mean, the leak thing's such a kind of weird thing to sort of deal with from our kind of side of things, because obviously it's something that happened that's not really anything to do with us, but it's kind of everything to do with us at the same time.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it.
But it's like from like the side of things of like the hate raids and all these kind of things that are happening on Twitch. I think really the best thing to do is just to keep an eye on like what everyone else is like saying. So there's advice, because obviously you get a lot of these days. There's quite a lot of these advice channels on like YouTube and stuff. You got Harris Heller and gaming careers or whatever, all these kind of things. And quite often when this kind of shit goes down, they will be quite quick to release something that is like, oh, this is how the thing, measures that you can put in place to to kind of help you. And this is how, for example, I know that one of the things to stop the hate raids from happening when you're offline, because apparently, I don't know how true this is, but the rumor is that the hate raids would happen while you're offline. They'd say some horrible things, take screenshots of it, and then get you banned. So then,
yeah, because they were using the automated system. Yeah.
Right. So then
when the hate raid happened, I actually got that slight hate raid, and one of my mods caught it, and like when I was offline, threw my channel in sub mode or emote only mode.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. So the advice was to use like sub mode and emote only mode while you're offline, and then turn it off just before you go online, all this kind of thing. And
but that doesn't work for everyone, because I've been to a few channels where they have a very vibrant offline community. Like
Really?
streamers not there, but there's like 20, 30 people like chatting offline and like all the time.
Aren't they like when they're live the ones that have like thousands of views though?
Oh yeah, they're the big ones, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, but I would imagine those ones would probably be okay to maybe sort out some form of moderation at all times, though. So maybe that'd be okay. These are the kind of people that can probably afford to pay moderators, whereas us small streamers can't really do that. But yeah, so that's what I'd kind of basically say is just sort of keep your. It's hard for quite a lot of people. I know a lot of people are quite similar to me, where you don't really pay attention to sort of current events. I know that. I mean, I actively avoid the news, for example, because it's just depressing.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah,
the news is terrible.
To some sort of extension to that, to some degree, I also avoid like current events just in general. It's easier to keep up with things on Twitch, because obviously I'll hang out in other people's chat and they'll talk about it. So you sort of hear by word of mouth and all this kind of thing. The whole thing about the password manager thing is quite interesting as well. Because a few years ago, password managers had quite a bad rep for basically just putting all your eggs into one basket. And
you're about like Dashlane or something like that.
Yeah, and not really being very secure. So what was happening is that everyone was putting all their passwords in a password manager, and then the password managers were getting compromised, and then you're fucked, because all of your passwords are there. Then. I don't know if are things better now than they were, because the thing I'm thinking of like sort of 5 years ago or so, when they had a really bad reputation.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like certain places like that, like they don't store their data in a sortable format. So without like the key, it doesn't work.
Right. Okay.
And Google has has a neat little tool now, and other places are doing it. When a website gets compromised, like Google or I'm not who else is doing it. Well, it's like, hey, one of your passwords is compromised. Change it. And never. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Password manager. You could just simply, if you want to go old school, just here's your password manager. I know people who have like books. Just something. Just use a different password on each one. I used to be really guilty of that. I used to have like the same password, generic password. But, thanks to some password managers or even Google or the complex ones, it's just really encrypt. But, I even had someone on the phone from one site. Like, information got leaked enough where they called my bank and convinced them to change my email to a different email. and they started trying to get access to my bank account. And I had to throw everything on to such extreme security where I can't change anything without going into the bank in person with 2 forms of ID. So many authorization codes, checks, backs up. I mean, my card doesn't work unless it's within 100 feet of my phone. It's ridiculous. It got so close because it's the smallest link. You can be as secure as you want, but if bubblegumhairyhippo.com gets their password stolen and you use them elsewhere.
How did you know that was my password? Fuck.
So
if one gets leaked, that's why you're supposed to use unique passwords. And people says that's a lot. That's hard. Start with a password manager. It's just
then theoretically you only need to remember one password. It sort of, don't you?
Yeah. And then you have master keys, and then whatever that's linked to, the emails, phones, and backup, that needs to be unique. So there's like 4 passwords I need to remember. But then it's much more secure.
Fair enough.
I mean, nothing's perfect. It's always going to be a constant fight, but a lot of it comes down to they're going for the weakest link. You're not a major corporation. They're not trying to hack you every day. It's just they're like swooping through the internet, the dark web. They're looking for an easy hit. They try a few soft hits on you, doesn't work. The program, they move on to the next one. Isaac, I don't have to have the best security. I just have a little bit better than yours.
Yeah, fair enough. So, in sort of conclusion, if I could really remember, I feel like my brain's melting already. So we've got use a password manager. Don't give anyone your personal details online. Using your real name is not necessarily a good idea. And
if you want to have a PO box, use a PO box. Just never give out your home address.
Yeah, a problem with PO boxes is they're not cheap.
Do not give out. I know that's if something has to be sent in.
Yeah.
Do not tell anyone what your internet provider is.
Yeah.
That depending on certain areas, it's very easy to narrow down where you live.
Oh, interesting. One thing that is worth noting as well, that gets almost everyone when they first start streaming is PayPal. If you've got a donation link, and it links to your personal PayPal, that will dox you really fast.
You got to turn it into a business one.
Yeah, it gives out your email address for a start. And obviously, if your email address is, first name dot last name or whatever, that kind of thing. Change it into a business one so that doesn't happen.
I created a business email just for that.
Yeah, exactly. A load of people don't realize that, and it happened with me, and the person that donated me was like, that you just that doxes you. I was like, oh, because I thought I'd set it.
I use Stream Elements for that kind of thing, so all my donations go to Stream Elements,
right?
And they also stop people doing the whole the buyback thing or whatever it is. When they throw money at you and then try and charge it back.
Okay.
Because if you did it via PayPal, then you're paying for the interest to go back to them and all this kind of stuff. It's an absolute nightmare. So Stream Elements protects you for that, but they do take they take 50 cents, I think it is. So it's like sod all. Right. So it goes straight to Stream Elements. Stream Elements hold it for me, and then I can pull it out as soon as I'm ready to pull it out. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a bit of a processing delay, but Stream Elements is good with that. They take a little bit of a cut, but if anyone gets a lot of donations, that's a good thing to set up. I can count on my hand, so it's not a big deal for me. But for anyone who's actually processing a lot of stuff that way, using a third-party system like that is very good. I mean, Stream Elements is very good. If you want to use Stream Elements just for that, it's he says 50 cents a transaction, and they block this other stuff anyway. So it costs you nothing.
Yeah, sounds really good.
It's just for the security of it, because chargebacks are no joke. Because they changed the laws on chargebacks. Like before, they used to go back 90 days. Now they go back 6 months. I've seen Dance Gaming. Yeah, he got this $500 donation during one of his a Halloween marathons. He was so ecstatic, and months later, that person did a chargeback.
Chattisfying.